So I'm continually blown away by the amount of people that are reaching out on a weekly basis that are looking to relocate and move down here to the state of Florida, many of them coming to the city of Coral Springs. Now, with that being said, we've been noticing that some of the costs down here in Coral Springs are definitely starting to increase. Now, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised to know that some of the costs that we have down here are still right at or below the national average. So what we're going to do here today is I'm just going to go through a list of all the expenses that we all have, including housing and utilities and transportation, food and groceries, things like that. Everything about the cost of living right here in Coral Springs, Florida, and we're going to get after it right now. What's up, everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name's Rob Zeoli, and I'm a real estate agent right here in South Florida. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. But if this is your first time to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that little bell icon down below to be notified anytime that I go ahead and make a new video. I do videos weekly about what it's like to live and play down here in South Florida. But more than that, guys, I'm a local real estate agent and absolutely love to help people with their real estate needs. So if you have any real estate needs at all or have any questions about anything related to South Florida, my information is popping up down below. You can get in touch with me by text, email, send a comment down below. I'm open 24/7 and absolutely look forward to talking to you. So let's get right into the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through a list of all the expenses that we all have, so this way you're not thrown off guard or surprised if you do move here to the city of Coral Springs. Now, make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to be going through an interactive color map and looking at some other cities here in the county that might differ in price from Coral Springs. Now, all the other costs of living are pretty much the same throughout other cities in the county, so you definitely want to stick around for that because housing is definitely going to be your highest expense. So let's get into it. So starting right out, we're looking at a median house cost here in Coral Springs of around $350,000. Now, when I actually saw that number, I thought it was quite low, so I did some research right before this video on the MLS, and there's really not even one active property right now that's around $350,000. The lowest price single-family home for sale that's active right now is $385,000. So what I did was I looked back 6 months and checked out all the closed sales. And these are single-family homes under $1 million because anything over is really not typical for Coral Springs. There are some houses like that, but that's not the norm. So I went back and checked for all the closed sales going back 6 months, and I came up with a median price of around $450,000. So we're going to base everything on that number. So you can expect your mortgage payment on a $450,000 home, if you're putting down 10%, at the current interest rate, which is 2.8%, to be right around $2,100. Now, definitely, full disclosure, don't quote me on these numbers. This is definitely going to be on a case-by-case basis. This is just an average. It's really going to depend on your personal finances, your credit score, the type of loan you're using, what you're putting down, and ultimately what interest rate you get from your lender. So don't quote me on these numbers, please. Now, according to the Broward County Property Appraiser's website, on a purchase of $450,000, your taxes would be roughly $7,248. Now, if you think about it, these numbers are not bad because if you rent a 3-bedroom home here in Coral Springs, the rent's going to be about $2,500, and to rent a 4-bedroom home, it's going to be about $3,000. Also, make sure you don't forget when calculating these numbers that in the state of Florida, we do not have any state income tax. So your money is definitely going to go further down here in the state of Florida with no state income tax than other states that do have that. Now, Florida does have a sales tax, which is right around 6%, and this is how we fund things like education, roads, and social services. So how about your utility costs here in Coral Springs? So you come in right at 97.1, which is actually lower than the national average of 100. And the state of Florida as a whole is right at 101.3. Now, how about your water bill? This can be very subjective. I mean, if you're a single person living in a condo, you're probably going to pay between $60 and $80 a month. If you have a large family with a bunch of kids taking showers all the time, maybe a large house with a pool that you have to fill up periodically and sprinklers that might not be connected to a well, your water bill could be anywhere between $200 and $300 a month. So it really depends on the size of your family and also what type of property that you live in. Now, one thing you need to know about Coral Springs and actually the state of Florida as a whole is that our energy costs are actually on the high side. Now, I think our average electric bills are around 13% higher than the national average. Now, another thing you have to keep in mind is that we do use a lot of electricity down here in Southeast Florida, mostly because many residents are running their air conditioners, year round. Now, this cost really averages out because we don't have harsh winters down here in Florida and we don't have to heat our homes, which is really the reason why our energy costs total comes in at 97.1 and is definitely lower than the national average of 100. Now, your internet cost here in Coral Springs would be right around, $50-$55 just for internet. If you're going to have cable TV and, movie channels and things like that, you can expect to be, right around 200. That's what I pay. I pay around $220 a month. I use Xfinity. And, one thing you need to know about the city of Coral Springs is that there is a company, another provider that some are good, some are bad, but this provider is doesn't have the best ratings. I've used them before. They're called Blue Stream. Not to say anything bad about anyone, but the service was kind of subpar in my opinion. They had very fast internet speed, but it just dropped all the time. So depending on where you live in Coral Springs is really going to depend on what service you can get. But as far as pricing, they're all pretty much the same. Now, if you have a single family home, you're going to have to cut your grass. You can do it yourself. It gets very, very hot in the summer, so most people hire a landscaping company. You can expect that to be around $60, $70 a month, and they'll come about twice a month, especially in the summer, to cut your grass and do your landscaping. How about pool maintenance? If you have a pool, you can do that yourself. It's not too hard. I always do it myself. But if you hire somebody, that's going to run you about $80 a month for them to come maintain your pool, and they're probably going to come once or twice a month as well. Now, for those of you out there that have kids and you need daycare, the daycare cost on average is about $45 per day here in the city of Coral Springs. Now, how about food and groceries? So, shopping and groceries is pretty much similar throughout the county as far as prices at different stores and different supermarkets. But say you want to go out to a restaurant, so an average meal at a mid-restaurant for two people is around $60 for a three-course meal. Obviously, that can go up much higher depending on the type of restaurant you go to. If you want to go to McDonald's for, say, a combo meal, the average is about $6. Now, for those of you that want to go out and have a cocktail, maybe a beer, you can expect a domestic beer to be around $5 and imported to be about $6 a bottle. Next, we'll go into transportation, and we come in at right around 134.6, which is significantly higher than the national average of 100. And the main driving factor to the high cost of transportation is that we have very, very high insurance premiums down here in South Florida. Now, I think the state of Florida ranks number 3 for its high insurance premiums, and the main driving factor for that, according to the insurance companies, is that we have a lot of high-risk drivers here in the state. And they classify high-risk drivers as seniors, tourists, and college students that are here at some of our colleges that don't know the area and in turn are considered high-risk or reckless drivers. So South Florida is definitely well known for having a large retirement community and seniors, and also a lot of college students that come to some of the many accredited colleges here studying for various degrees in business and tech, science and medical at colleges like Broward College, Nova University, FAU, and others. Now, what about gas? So we definitely all have seen gas go up dramatically in the last year since the election. I don't know if that's the reason why this has happened, but I remember last year gas was at like $2.20. Currently, it's about $2.85 a gallon throughout South Florida. Now, how about the cost of healthcare? Now, Florida's overall healthcare rating has really improved in the last few years, and it's up to 37th out of 51 states, which is really not that good. So the odds are that where you're living right now, you're probably going to get better quality healthcare, or at least it's rated better than here in the state of Florida, because we're 37th out of 51. So overall, as far as the cost of healthcare, Coral Springs comes in at right around 96.8, which again is lower than the national average. And again, we're going to go now and take a look at the map and look at some of the housing. So Coral Springs comes in at 152.8 on average for housing, which is significantly higher than the national average. So let's go check out this map and look at some other cities and Coral Springs and how they compare to each other. Okay guys, so here we go on the computer, and I just wanted to show you this map again of the county and where Coral Springs is located in relation to other cities and how they differ in the cost of housing, because again, that is going to be your biggest cost as far as the cost of living. So right here is where we got pretty much most of our numbers as far as the cost of living, the overall numbers. And down below is what I wanted to show you, was this map here, this interactive map. So this is basically Broward County, or I'm starting to realize that a lot of people that reach out don't really know Broward County or some of the cities in Broward County. They know Miami, they know Palm Beach, and they've heard of Fort Lauderdale, really. These are people that haven't really been here before. And I guess because of spring break is why Fort Lauderdale is popular. And also Broward County is referred to as Greater Fort Lauderdale. So right here, you can see Coral Springs, which is on the northwest edge of Broward County. And if you look here at the colors, as you get darker in color, it means it's more expensive as far as housing is concerned. So you got Coral Springs right here. Now, other cities throughout the county, they are very similar in the cost of living as far as housing. That's Coral Springs. You have Plantation here, Davie, Pembroke Pines as you go down south, and also all of Fort Lauderdale, the city. There are some more expensive options. Parkland is, an exclusive community, gated. They're still doing a lot of new construction over there. Also, Weston is a little more expensive than Coral Spring. Southwest Ranches, Cooper City, a little bit more. And what I really wanted to show you is that these other cities that are a little more affordable. So Coconut Creek right here, which is north, Pompano Beach, and also the city of Sunrise, all are right at the national average as far as housing is concerned. So you really have a lot of choices. Broward County is not really that big. I think north and south from edge to edge, it's about 28 miles. And east and west from its furthest point west all the way east to the beach, it's about 50 miles. So the whole county is not that big. There's a lot of metro cities like Houston, San Antonio that are actually bigger than our entire county. So we're really experts when we know exactly what you're looking for, and it really comes down to lifestyle. So whether you want to be closer to the beach, if you want to be a little more private and less congested, you'll go a little bit west. Do you want it more walkable? Like, some areas of downtown Hollywood or downtown Fort Lauderdale. All those different things will really determine where you could wind up. But again, everything is so close to each other here. So you really have a lot of different options depending on the lifestyle you want to live. I think there's 31 cities total in Greater Fort Lauderdale or Broward County. So hopefully this sheds some light on where Coral Springs is and how it compares to other cities throughout the county. So I appreciate you watching. Let's get back to the rest of the video. So I want to thank you for watching the video about the cost of living right here in Coral Springs, Florida. And speaking of living here in Coral Springs, Florida, or anywhere here in South Florida, we would absolutely love to help you with all your real estate needs, or to help you find that perfect area that you might be thinking of moving to or just want to go see. But again, in order to do that, you gotta reach out. So again, my information is popping up down there below. You can contact me however you like to communicate. I'm the guy that answers all inquiries directly, and look forward to hearing from you and helping you with all your real estate needs. And until the next video, guys, take care.